Hey folks, welcome. Peter Catalano here. It's the interview. And as you all well know, I love meeting great entrepreneurs. Some people are working for entrepreneurs, some people are the entrepreneurs themselves. But I love meeting all these great people in the Houston area. I call it the country of Houston. I know there's roughly 8 million people out the whole Houston area. It's pretty large. But today I get the privilege meeting Brodie, excuse my stuttering, and I met Tom through one of my networking groups, and he came up to me and he handed me this unique card, and he goes, I'm the found money guy, and I'm like, huh? Are you working for the state with the achievement and gathering the money when you log in there? And he goes, no, I work with cost segregation. And I tell you, if you want to see my eyes roll to the back of my head quickly, that was it right there. Cost segregation. What did that all mean? And so Tom's like, Pete, why don't we get together and let me share with you, how I can help business owners, and especially those in the real estate business, really identify how to preserve money, save more money, and in many cases defer taxes in many cases. And I said, you know what? I think those are all the things that people will want to hear. So Tom, welcome to my interview. I call this the interview. Thank you for graciously joining me here today and helping me and the business owners who are real estate professionals, real estate investors, not just the professionals, but the investors understand what cost segregation means and how to save money, right? So that's
absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on. Yeah, cost segregation is one of the, it's a big term, I know, and people stumble over that, but it's one of those things that every person that owns a commercial building should know about it, should investigate it, should do it. Because like you said, I kind of coined the phrase, it's found money, because they're doing this anyway. They're just not doing it to the extent that they can.
So Tom, this is, I appreciate you jumping right into that. But before we even jump in your expertise on this, real quick, let me backtrack a little bit. My fault for catching it. Who are you? And are you Hostonian, or give us a little bit about who you are real quick here.
Okay, very good. I was actually born in California, and believe it or not, had to move to Texas because I developed severe allergies to the pine trees in California.
Yeah, they're nasty.
So we moved to Texas. That's kind of backwards from everybody else. Everybody else that moves to Texas develop allergies, seems like. I was reversed. So moved to Texas back, I think I was not even 1 year old yet when we moved here.
Oh, wow.
So my whole life's been in Houston, on the north side. And then just kind of, since then, just kind of been moving a little bit further out. When I got married, went to Jersey Village, and then moved up to Tomball. And now I'm, living just north of the Woodlands. So I think this is where I'm going to stay. I can't get too close to Dallas, so I got to stay down here.
Well, if you moved here at 1 year old, you definitely could be considered Texan and or Hostonian at that point, because you look older than 5. So I think you got more than a few good years.
I remember when the Humble building was the tallest, Humble building, not Exxon. The Humble building was the tallest thing downtown.
Wow, that is an amazing amount of memory that you have, actually, too. That's another good sign. Okay, so now let's jump into this cost segregation. You opened up the door a minute ago. You said every commercial business owner, the building owner, needs to understand this. What do they need to understand?
Well, it's all about depreciation, right? And everybody kind of leaves that up to the CPA. And recent tax laws have allowed people to accelerate depreciation. That's not everything. It's just on certain parts of their building can be accelerated, right? So people say, well, I want to do that. If you can accelerate the depreciation, increase your depreciation write-off, you're lowering your income tax liability, right? So you're going to lower your net income, which will lower the amount of taxes you pay. And this is significant. A commercial building owner could save 6 to 10% of their building's value in avoided or deferred income taxes by doing cost segregation.
Oh, that's amazing. That's a lot of money. 6 to 10% adds up. And is that an annual savings?
It's a one-time savings, because what you're doing, you're switching the way you account for depreciation. And the best thing is you don't have to amend the previous year's return. So if you've been in a building for a number of years and then decide you want to do this accelerated depreciation, the IRS lets you issue, and we help with that, a change of accounting form. So you're not going back and amending previous year's returns, which is what nobody wants to do.
Yeah, no kidding. So that sounds like a lot of cost on doing that, getting a hold of your accountant to do it. Is this something the accountants need to do? You work with the accountants? How is this process?
We work with the accountants. It's something that your CPA or accountant doesn't do just because it's so detailed and they don't have the time to do it. For us to look at a building, it usually takes anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks because we get into blueprints, we get into floor plans, all the detail that go into that to be able to identify the elements of your building that can have its depreciation accelerated. So it's something that they don't have the expertise or the time to be able to invest in it. And sadly, because they don't have the expertise and the time, they don't tell their building owner clients about it. Some
Sure.
do, but very few, very few. And I
No,
think part of it is that they don't want to be seen as less than the expert.
right.
So they don't admit. The best thing they can do is like, hey, I don't know how to do this, but I know somebody that does, right? And have someone come in, explain it, because the CPA at the end of the day, they're going to be the one that's going to be handling all of our output, right? Because we do
Sure.
all the calculations, give it to the CPA to file on the behalf. So we work with the CPA and we take on all the risk and all the support. So if there's ever any question on anything we do, we support it at no additional cost. And in the 18 years that we've been doing this, we've never had one of our studies challenged by the IRS.
You say that you're digging into the building here, and you need time to dig into the building. A couple questions are coming to mind. Is there a particular building size, square footage, I'd imagine, or is there an age, or something about a building that makes it more inclined to do this versus a different type of building?
Any commercial building worth more than $200,000 in building only. You can't depreciate land. So the building structure and everything in it, if it's $200,000 and up, you should look at this, right?
Okay,
Now,
at least an alternative to consider.
Yeah, if you've been in a building 20 plus years, maybe not much left to depreciate, right? Because you've been depreciating it all these times. But if you've just bought a building, or if you've been in a building a couple years, it's time to do this, because accelerating the depreciation is kind of like winning the lottery. So if you won the lottery, $1 million lottery, do you want to wait 40 years to get your money, or are you going to take the lump sum today?
Now,
what's your answer?
Yeah, no, I'm taking lump sum. So
everybody does that. So it's
the
same decision.
Yeah. So future tax laws changes. Is there a disadvantage to taking this lump sum now versus taking the risk that there'll be a benefit to me down the road? Depreciation is not my strong suit. That's why we have accountants and you, right?
Sure. Well, I mean, the issue is if you're getting ready to sell a building, right, and you recorded this accelerated depreciation, you have to give some of that back. So what we tell people, if your plan is to sell your building, or you're going to flip your building within 5 years, it doesn't make financial sense to do it. Okay. But if you're going to hold it longer than 5 years, the fact that you've had that money that you've saved and kept from giving to the government, and you're going to reinvest that in something, buy more product, buy another building, whatever. So you're going to make as much money on the reinvestment as you would if you sold the building in 10 years. So it's kind of a time value of money play, and just kind of depends on what you're going to do with the cash.
It sounds like, on average, and I know every building is probably unique, it sounds like a rough break-even point is 5 years, or rough minimum that you would want to retain is 5 years. If you're looking at a 1, 2, 3 year or less, 5 year or less, not worth having the conversation. 5 years or more, we definitely have to go now. Now, how do you price this out? I'm assuming you don't go in there for free and do all this evaluation, right? How's that work?
Well, we do an estimate for free. So definitely we can find out what your building's worth as far as the benefit of the cost segregation. And then actually we'll come up with our fees based on that. So the fees kind of based on the value of the building, because the more valuable the building, the more complex it is, and we have to study more pieces and parts to it, right? But it's really something that's very affordable. So if you're looking at $1 million building, the cost to do a study is usually a little bit under $5,000. So right at $4,500 or so. And if you're getting $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 in deferred income tax value, I think that's a great payout.
That leverage works really well.
Yeah.
And boy, there's a lot of people can use with that money, right? I see a lot of people who are in the real estate game, who are in the real estate investment business, you know, that could allow you a down payment on your next one, or allow you to buy more inventory, and if you can get it off the boats and the harbors in here. And
Well, that's,
you
yeah.
know, I mean, you know, you can, yeah, minor detail. And so this is a fascinating now. How is how are we approach? Who are we bringing this to? We're, you know, the accountants may or may not have the knowledge. We're bringing it to the real estate, or excuse me, you're bringing it to the attorneys. Are you looking to address directly to consumer, directly to the business owner, building owner?
I'm really going to the building owner because they're the ones feeling the pain of writing the check to the IRS, right?
Yeah.
Nobody else feels that pain quite like a business owner or the building owner. The incredible fact is that most building owners have never heard of this. I run into building owners all the time. They're reluctant to even talk about it because no one's told them about it. Their CPAs never mentioned this. So it's the proverbial, this sounds too good to be true.
Sure.
This is
Sure.
all within the IRS code. And in typical government fashion, they don't tell you how to get all this money, or they don't say, hey, building owner, you should do this, but it's in the code. So this is one thing that is there really to try to incentivize people to own property, commercial property. And this is a commercial property play, but it's one of those things that they don't know about. And the strange thing is that even commercial realtors, I've found, don't know about this. I mean, I've given presentations to the CREAM organization, the Commercial Real Estate Association of Montgomery County. I gave one of their lunch and learns they had back earlier this year. I gave a presentation, and you could see the eyes in the audience just get wide and go, because we have a mix of, you know, commercial building owners and realtors, and the eyes just like, what? And I heard somebody poke somebody, is this real? And get one guy, yeah, I do this all the time. You know, this was a seasoned real estate investor, and he knows that, like you talked about, this frees up capital to buy something else or buy another building.
Sure. Well, listen, I promise people on these quick interviews here that we keep it short, keep it under 15 minutes. We're getting near that time. I know we could probably dive into a lot more details here. Let's come on back if you want and dive into more details. But for right now, how do people get a hold of you if they want to talk to you about this?
Best way is to call me on my cell. And that phone number is 713-906-3710. Or you can go out to my website, Tom Brodie, TOMBRODIE.biz, and find out more about it. But if you own a commercial building and it's worth more than $200,000, you need to call me. The estimate is absolutely free, so there's no obligation, no cost to you, and at least you'll know what your building's worth.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Well, Tom, I really appreciate you being here with me on the interview today and educating me, and hopefully people will watch this and take advantage of this opportunity. One quick question before we go now.
Sure.
Is there a time limit on this? Is this something that should be done before December 31st, or can it even be done by December 31st?
Right now, no. I mean, if you're going to start from scratch and try to do a study, we're not going to do it.
Can we get it done? Okay. All right. So we're pushed into 2022 now.
Well, it depends on when you file. So if you're filing in April, we can get it done before April. And so in order to have something for 2021, as long as you get the study done before you file, so you could do this in 2022 and apply it on the 21 taxes, especially if you're filing an extension.
Yeah, absolutely. I get what you're saying. Thank you for clarifying that. Again, thank you for your time. I'm going to talk to you before Christmas, just so people are always wondering when I'm recording this. This is December 2021. So thank you. Merry Christmas to you. And I hope to see you back here soon.
Very good. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
My pleasure.